How do I know I have masculine energy? Hello, my name is Chengi, and you, my precious one, are my world. Today we're going to be talking about how to identify masculine energy in yourself, how to identify if a woman is masculine energy, and possibly what we can do about that. Now, the solution is going to be in my Feminine Mastery Masterclass replay on my website, chengisworld.co.uk/shop, where you will get 1.5 hours worth of intense training on how to master your femininity, how to behave like a feminine woman, talk like a feminine woman, and show up like a feminine woman, even though you might be struggling with masculine energy. Okay, so the reason why I'm really passionate about these sort of topics, masculinity and femininity, is for one simple reason. I am a recovering masculine woman. Yes, I've always looked rather feminine, and I carry myself like a lady, and I'm quite demure and elegant in most ways. However, I used to speak, operate, think like a boy. The reason for that is because I was raised by a strong masculine mom, a mom who was focus driven. My mom, right, and my dad was a full-on extreme feminist who really felt and believed that, you know, you can do it. And it was wonderful because both of them encouraged us to be leaders, to go for our dreams. But at the end of the day, all of it was the only nurture we received was masculine energy. So my sisters and I, we struggle with masculine energy. But thank goodness we have come to the light. Okay, so what are some of the traits that accompany, that can help you see that you are in your masculine energy, or sitting in your masculine energy? These are not exhaustive. We could go on and on and on and on and on and on about that. But I want to give this disclaimer though, ladies. When masculine or feminine energy is being operated within the wrong, if you like, within the opposite body type. So if you are masculine in a feminine body, then it's going to operate in a skewed way. It's going to be either excessive or is going to be out of balance, because you are not naturally built to carry a lot of masculine energy. You don't have the physicality to do what masculine energy can do. You don't have the hormonal composition to do what masculine energy can do, and you don't have the mind, the brain functions in the way that our brains are wired to actually be a successful possessor of masculine energy. And so you will find that when a man has feminine energy, again, it creates a distortion to that energy. So if I am talking about things that may seem negative, they're not negative, and they don't manifest negatively when they're in the gender that they should be in. They manifest negatively when the other person is trying to work. Because remember, in my other videos, I've already stated that we are at our core as women feminine. So the war is really happening on the inside of us, and of course what manifests is something ugly, because we know that masculine energy is beautiful energy, is cherishing energy, is giving energy, is providing energy. You have never been loved until you've been loved by a masculine man. Okay, so real masculinity is beautiful, but when it is in a woman, it's distorted, it's perverted. And sometimes when we use it for the right things, because we also have a healthy dose of masculine energy that we need to work, to have careers, to lead, to do videos, to have conversations like this. I'm actually my masculine energy, right? It then works correctly. But when we bring it into the relational spectrum, we start to see some deformities in that energy. So please don't think that masculine energy is just horrible because it's because I'm talking about masculine energy, but it's when masculine energy is in the female form. Okay, so I hope I have made that as clear as I possibly can. So a masculine energy woman doesn't care much for the way she looks. Masculine energy women are opposed to preening, to being pretty. They're opposed to enhancing their looks. They're opposed to, you know, anything that would, you know, create pretty. You know, they're not very well coordinated. They let their hair just go crazy. You know, you see them everywhere, and they're these women that were told, focus on your education, focus on your education. And if you were brought up in Africa where education is all there is, then, you know, they would normally cut our hair so we could focus in the classroom. Hello? Okay, chop off the feminine energy, why don't you? You know, so women sort of grow up not really able to look after themselves. They're just not put together, right? So if you're masculine energy, and if you want to identify a masculine energy woman, look at the woman that's disheveled and unkempt, not put together, likes to wear trousers, is more interested in being comfortable than being stylish. Okay, because feminine energy is stylish, is creative, is ladylike. That's not to say that feminine energy doesn't wear comfortable clothes, that we don't wear jeans, that we don't wear trainers and tracksuits. Of course we do, but we're not in them all the time. We don't do everything in them all the time, right? But you will find that masculine energy women, they will do it all the time. Their wardrobe is going to be very, very, very masculine. So you want to check your wardrobe, that it's feminine, that you wear dresses. If you can help it, wear as many dresses. In fact, buy only dresses and skirts, because quite frankly, when you're wearing a dress, you have to behave like a lady, because otherwise your niggas will show, or, you know, you're forced to step into your feminine energy. So that's point number one, in no particular order. Point number two, masculine energy women are very combative, very defensive. You have to understand that the masculine is the protector. The masculine protects, right? And so a woman who is heavily in her masculine learned at a very young age to protect herself, maybe protect her siblings if she's like a firstborn in a family. Maybe she has to protect her mom. Maybe she had to protect other people. And so there is very much a lot of defensive, combative energy about a masculine woman. You feel like she's ready to fight in 2 seconds, like she's good to go, right? She's ready, right? For a masculine woman. So that, if you feel that you're very combative or defensive, then that's masculine energy on the inside of you. Masculine women are impatient. One of the things I get most from my girls is, you know, I'm talking to him online, he hasn't asked me out on a date yet, or he hasn't texted me yet, or he hasn't done this yet. Now, I'm not talking about men that are playing games and being silly and breaking communication patterns. I'm talking about the fact that a feminine woman allows the masculine man to lead. She doesn't lead for him. She doesn't decide the pace that the relationship goes to, because she's passive, patient, and vulnerable. So she's happy to lean back and let that man lead. Okay, so when you find yourself being really impatient, he's not doing this fast enough, quick enough, then you are in your masculine energy. You're trying to drive the relationship. A masculine energy woman is very comfortable pursuing. She's the girl that shoots her shot. She's the girl that slides into the DMs of a guy. She's the girl who, when a guy doesn't call her, she starts to panic. What shall I do? Shall I send him a message? What kind of message should I send him? She goes into pursuit mode. So when a guy pulls away, she chases him. If he breaks with me, she chases him. She is constantly in that pursuing energy. You know, if he's not calling, a feminine woman will sit back and wait for him to call, or entertain herself with her other suitors, okay? Because she's got options. So, you know, you're not gonna be sitting there chasing the one guy. That again is masculine energy, pursuing energy, going after him, trying to get his interest, trying to get his attention at all times, because maybe there's been a shift or a change in his behavior, or starting a conversation and being the one to initiate a relationship. Another trait of a masculine woman is she has a savior complex. You have to remember the masculine energy wants to rescue the feminine, wants to keep everybody safe, protected, right? And a masculine woman is the one that says to me, oh yes, well, I needed a place to stay, so I said he could move in with me, right? I'm not talking about a relationship that has been established, that's been going on for a while. He loses his job, something happens, and you are the supportive partner. I'm not talking about that setup. I'm talking about a setup where you want to save him from his past. You want to save him financially. You want to save him from what mommy and daddy did to him when he was 4. You just want to save him. He moves in with you. He uses your resources. You're constantly in savior mode. That is masculine energy, okay? You can help a man. You don't need to save him. You can help him by being loving, nurturing. You can give him, you know, some support. And yes, if it is absolutely necessary, you can give him, you know, space in your home for a season while he gets himself together. But by and large, it's not your job to be forking out money, saving him financially, saving him, buying him cars, you know, just doing all the stuff that women are doing nowadays to keep a man. Another trait of a masculine woman is that you peacock. Peacocking is the woman that says to me, he didn't ask me any questions about myself. I didn't get to talk about myself. He just talked about himself all day, all night, was just talking about himself. Now that is when a man is peacocking. We're going to talk about distinguishing a masculine man in the next video. But masculine men have to prove to you. The reason why they talk about themselves is because they're selling themselves to you. You have already been sold to him. He looked at you, he likes what he sees, he's sold, okay? Now, obviously, if there's an intelligent man, if he's a man who has social intelligence, emotional intelligence, a man of high value, of course, he's going to understand that a conversation is backwards and forwards. But a feminine woman is comfortable to lean back, receive information, really use that opportunity to get insight into the man and decide whether this is the man she wants to pursue a relationship with or not. But she doesn't get irate and worried because he keeps talking about himself, okay? If he doesn't have any manners, of course, that's a whole different thing. But at the end of the day, the feminine woman is not here to talk about herself. She's here to listen to her masculine man, and hopefully he will also want to listen to her. If obviously he doesn't care what you have to say completely, then chances are he's not a high value man and you shouldn't be wasting your time with him. Okay. Next thing is a masculine woman leads with her thoughts. She leads with her smarts. I get this all the time. Whenever I speak to the ladies and angels, or I talk to a woman that's masculine energy, and I ask her, do not lead with your career, do not lead with your achievements, do not lead with your education, do not lead with these things. Why can't a woman be smart? Why does a man have to be? I don't care, honey. I don't care. Unless you want a feminine guy, you do not lead with your mind. You do not lead with your thoughts. Lead, I said. It doesn't mean that you dumb down. When you are in a relationship, a masculine man is looking for a loving partner, somebody he can cherish. He's not looking for somebody who's going to compete with him about who's smarter. He gets to do that with the men at work. He has to do that with the people in his life, the other women in his life. You are there to show yourself to be a loving person. Now, when he discovers that you are loving, that you are somebody who is lovable, adorable, because those are traits that you have. I was on Angels, and one of the angels was saying to me, but you know, why do they get intimidated whenever I shall start showing them how intelligent I am, then all of a sudden they forget that. And I was like, that's because that's not all you are. You're not just a brainiac. You're not just the person with the 4 degrees. You are also other things. You are also sweet. You're also generous. You're also kind. You're also sweet and thoughtful. You are also a happy, easygoing person. We're not one thing, but a masculine woman wants to be one thing. Just this intelligent person, and I know where it comes from, it's all to do with scripting. I was scripted the same way, and then we're told that men want intelligent women. Of course they do. They don't want to be talking to a wall all day, but that is not their number one priority when they're choosing a mate for life, and when they're choosing a woman that they want to spend some quality time with. They don't need that in their lives. So you can show up as an intelligent woman after the third date, second date, as you get to know each other more and more. Then he discovers, oh wow, she's really smart too, and she's accomplished too, and all of those things become like the icing on the cake because you didn't lead with them. He just needs to think that you are lovely as you are. That is you too, right? It's also you. It's not a version of you. Now, if you don't have a loving part to you, then you need to get some help. Because if you don't have a sweet, feminine, soft side to you, then we need help, Houston. You don't need to be in the feminine mastery class. You need to be calling me, because we probably need to work on that. Because you should have feminine and masculine traits in you that you've been developing over time. What I'm asking you to do is lean on your feminine traits so that you can give room for the man to lean into his masculine traits and treat you like the queen you are. Okay, so stop leading with your brain. The next thing is a need to be validated by achievements and success. Is kind of similar to the point before. We have to let everybody know how accomplished we are and what we have done. And when it's not acknowledged, then we feel like we're not loved, we're not cherished, we're not respected. Okay, again, that is a masculine trait, right? A woman is loved and validated by who she is, how she shows up in the world as a high value woman. Okay, masculine trait I'm not even numbering them. The next one is highly competitive. Women that are highly competitive, that compete with other women, that compete with men, everything's a competition. So I had one of my girls in the Angels say to me that, she was texting back and forth with this guy, and she was like, well, I can do anything you can do better than you, right? And she kind of thought it was cute, right? Now, the only person that's going to think that's cute is a feminine guy, because he's thinking, yay, a strong girl to carry the load. Hallelujah. Okay, a masculine guy doesn't want competition. He competes every day. You have to understand that men live in a world of competition. That is their vibe. That's their bread. He doesn't want to come home to a woman he has to compete with, to a woman who can do it better than him. He wants to come home to a restful environment. He wants to come home to a peaceful environment. He wants you to be home, the place where he can rest his head, okay? And Samson and Delilah was only able to get all of that out of Samson because the Bible tells us that she gave him a place to rest his head. Okay, not a competitive energy space. Last but definitely not least, a masculine woman is very, very bossy, right? She is bossy, and I've heard people say, it's not bossy, it's leadership. No, it's bossy, because leadership inspires people. People want to actually do what you say. Masculine energy women don't care if people want to do what they say, whether people actually respect them or not. They just want to have their way. Everything is by command. Do this, do the other. Everybody's miserable around them, and they don't care. Okay, so that is many of the traits, not all of them, but many of the traits for sure. When you find yourself being combative, really, if this video offended you, you're probably a masculine woman, because I've heard it all before. Women who choose with their eyes are masculine. Now that really upsets so many people. You're like, but I want him to look good. Nobody is saying that you have to date ugly duckling, the worst possible looking man in the world in order to be feminine. What I am saying is that it is not the way he looks that should win you over as a woman. Yeah, great, he's a good looking guy, he's in shape, he looks after himself, he dresses really well, woo woo, okay? But at the end of the day, the only reason I'm going to give you my time and attention is because of the way that you make me feel, because of the things of how secure and safe I feel emotionally around you, whether you can be a good provider, whether you are capable of being a protector, and whether you cherish me. And so I only get that from listening to the things that you are saying. I get that from analyzing the things coming out of your mouth. I get that from observing your world and getting insight into who you are, not by just looking at you and thinking he's cute, he just has to be the man of my dreams. Okay, so let's just get that straight. And if this offends you, or anything I've said offends you, then ladies, we need to take a close look at ourselves, because we are in our masculine energy. I hope that this video was helpful for you and it helps you understand what it looks like when a woman is in her masculine energy. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Again, make sure you get the Feminine Mastery replay on my website. Every single one of you in Chengi's world needs to have downloaded that replay. Like, that is your girl handbook. That is your winning handbook. If you get that replay and get those concepts in the bag, you're on your way, boo-boo. Okie dokie. So I look forward to seeing you on my next video. In the meantime, take care of you. Love you lots.